show you the thinking tools quickly, and I'm just going to go through the website quickly. I could spend 4 hours on the website, there's that much on it. But just sit down with a Shardy and just surf it, because there's a lot there that you can use immediately with your kids. You can with your kids at home too, with your families, okay? Now, that activity there, I've seen groups of people change the prompt questions and put it about subjects. So, what's something you've just learned in mathematics? Okay, where do you think you could use it? Does everyone get what I mean? And you do that 3 joys activity like that. It gives an opportunity for every single person in the room to speak. How often does that happen in meetings? So on the website there's a tool called 3 Amigos. It is wonderful for getting everyone casting an opinion. So here's a website, have a look. It's written on, I think it's on the front, is it? Probably bloody not. Okay. You'll get it anyway. Can you read up the... Okay. It's learning curve, one word, learningcurve.com.au. learningcurve.com.au. Okay. Jill and Steve will give you your username and password. I've already logged on. So you drive it, and it's going to be short and sweet. You drive it through the resources tab. So there's the secondary wellbeing program. If I click on that, there it is for the whole year. If I click on any, say, active constructive responding, there are all the activities that you can do. Now this is, the primary one looks exactly the same, so I'll do it in a minute. Okay, what's in the middle years book, what's in the senior book, mindfulness activity, resilience builder, all little 15-minute activities. You know some of the stuff you've done today? Okay, put them with the wellbeing fitness challenges. Teacher wellbeing section every week. Teacher wellbeing section, I might open that one. Okay. So there's something to build your well-being. You've got to put yourself in front of the kids here. You've got to get yourself in a good space. So teacher well-being every week. You don't have to do all those dot points. If you did one of those dot points, it's one more thing than you're doing now. Has everyone got the drift? The biggest, look, there's some schools been doing this for 7 years. So they're allocating massive amounts of time to this, so there's got to be heaps here, because they've seen the result in their whole school community's growth, okay? Both academic and personal. So there's teacher wellbeing, different year levels, and if you really want to get into it, there's one for each year level. It's the same in the primary. Has everyone got the drift? Yep? So you've got heaps of stuff there you can use. That's a parent newsletter article to explain, because parents love their kids and they want to know what's going on, don't they? So this is put on the website, or if you've got their mailing addresses, mail at home. And so see the top bit? This year I thought I'd put in a parent wellbeing tip every week, just for them. Okay, and then there is what we're doing this week with active constructive responding. Because your kid comes home, what are you doing at school? Nothing. So in Perth, I'll tell you what they do. The two panels I show you, there's about 50 schools in Western Australia, and I didn't know they were doing it. They put up that first panel that has the middle years and the senior stuff up on their website with the article. These schools, who goes hunting school websites? You'd be a pretty boring person, wouldn't you? Well, they're getting over 2,500 hits every month on their websites, not from their parents, but from parents of other schools who want to learn about adolescent development. So that could be a serious point of difference for you guys. So try it, and your techies would know how to do it. Then there's the habits of mind there that I talked about. Yep. I suppose I better open it. There are the 16 habits. These are ways to think more intelligently. Okay. Then that's for the weekly character strength. I think what Miami High does is better than what I've written here. And all of these are interactive. You can save them to anywhere you want to save them to on your network. This is a mindfulness activity. Now, it's not true mindfulness because kids' prefrontal cortexes aren't developed, they can't do mindfulness. But what these do is distract the kids' amygdalas. So they're trying so hard to find these things that distracts the emotional part. And if you want to do a class activity with it, yep. So there's mindfulness. I don't want to save it. There's resilience builder every week, appropriate to the year level. So this is all social emotional stuff. Is everyone getting the drift? Now this is for every week of the year. Now you're not going to get within a bull's roar of doing half this stuff. There's a Wellbeing Fitness Challenge. There's a thinking trap. Do adolescents fall into thinking traps? And if I just go back, if I try and go back, okay. If I go down again, if I just go to thinking tools, there's over 63, and Shane's going over to America. He's going to see David Perkins. He's the head of Harvard Education, and I worked with him in 2006, and he wrote thinking tools. PhD students, they're thinking plateaus, yeah? They've got no more neural pathways to increase their thinking. So he made up a whole lot of thinking routines to build new neural pathways. So I've made the same up for kids, that we can get them to think more intelligently, yeah? So I'll just open one. Points of the compass. Yeah. What else do you need to find out about this idea? Kids wouldn't think of that question. What do you think is really positive about this? What do you think should happen now? Does everyone get the drift? So they got the John Hattie prompting questions. So there's a heap of thinking tools for you. Resources, mindfulness activities. If you click on that, there they are. There are heaps of them there. Has everyone got the drift? You know what I'd be doing 3 or 4 times a day? I'd be locking myself in a cubicle of the dunny and do some mindfulness myself for 5 minutes every day, 3 or 4 times a day. Or some deep breathing. I'm serious. We need time outs. And can you have a look at what page third space is on, please? Third space. Anyone found it? What page? 12. 12. Can you have a look, please? Okay, third space, and it started in the late 80s. Ray Oldenburg started it, and then Adam Fraser's taken it on now. I watched that video of Adam last night. He's a lunatic. Yeah. He's not a lunatic, everyone. He's a really good bloke, Adam Fraser. Okay, that's for the camera. No, but Adam's taken it up and wrote a really good book called Third Space. And what it is, if you take one thing away from today, you just take one thing. Have a time where you emotionally transition between school and home. You've got to have that transition time, because otherwise you take the emotions home, and sometimes you take them the other way, don't you? From home to school. And it is just so critical you do that. My old man was an accountant. He used to catch the train home, stop at the Paco Hotel on the train line. He'd have 2 or 3 pots, get back on the train and get home to us 6 kids. Poor old mum never had a third space. But the old man was a fiery bugger, so if he didn't have his third space, you know, there were 5 boys and 1 girl, we were in for it. Does that make sense? So please do it. And I could tell a heap of stories about third spaces, but make sure you find one for yourself, please. I said I was going to stop, and I am going to stop. Have a look at that website. Just scroll down there, and you are particularly professional practice support. It is chockers with stuff you can do with the kids. And in there, in the classroom support, there's a great way of getting to know your students. It's a real ripper. So if you just have a bit of a surf of it, what is it, Bayview SC, Bayview SC? Capital S, capital C. And what are you, Steve? Do you know what your website is?
No, ours is getting good at the moment.
So they haven't given you the website, the username, password?
No, not finished yet. No.
Okay. Has everyone got the drift? If anyone wants to talk to me, you go to About Us, Mick Walsh, all my contact details are there. So, look, we could keep going for hours, but I know you're going to, we've got to get to Burnie, and I hope you've had a good day and you got something out of it. I've enjoyed it working with you. You've been great. So thanks for having me, and yeah, okay.